Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. Today I recommend y'all taking a good seat on the ground because I'm spilling some tea, honey, and it is hot. So take a seat, get a snack, get a drink, and let's get going. So today we are going to be exploring the phenomenon of straight men who are interested sexually in trans women. And I say phenomenon because, like, girls, like, at the end of the day, we're interested in who we're interested in, like, get the for it. But there is so much stigma around straight men who are sexually attracted to trans women. And so I wanted to make this video to clarify some things, put some interesting things out there that I've observed over my time in the community. My research is based on, I feel like if I was in PhD school, like, this is what my dissertation would be literally on. So, like, let's just pretend this is like my, like, oral interview, so to speak. Honey, my research is not based on books, it's not based on novels, it's not based on peer-reviewed literature. It is based on my experience on Tinder, Grindr, and real-life experiences. And I am kind of putting out my collection of experiences today and what I've gathered from them, and hopefully I think some of it is just really fucking interesting, and B, I want to kind of reduce some of the stigma and shame and guilt around being sexually attracted to trans women, because I don't think there's anything actually wrong with that. So let's just jump right into it. When I first started transitioning in 2013, girl, I'm getting old. So I have been on dating apps before, during, and after my transition. Obviously, I'm not on them now because I'm in a committed relationship, but my experiences on these apps have been so interesting looking back at them. There have been experiences of heartbreak, of depression, of anxiety, sadness, also happiness and excitement, and all the opposite emotions. So when did I first start interacting with straight men on these apps? It's an interesting position to be in as a transitioning woman because you're obviously transitioning. And so there's points where you might be more femme than others. You might be presenting more feminine than at other times. And that's just how it is. I mean, we go through electrolysis. Most of us have facial hair, body hair at some point, and there's really a lot of changes. And so if you think about trying to date a straight man earlier on in that process, it's going to be a lot harder than at the end of that process. I tried to date a straight man in the beginning of that process, and it was a mess. Not going to lie, it was a mess. And I have a story time on that if you want to go check it out. I'll put a little link up there. But it wasn't great. And so one of the first things I realized, self-identified straight men who were okay with transgender women wanted you to be in a place where you were fully woman. And it's so hard to say because it's like not fully woman with like a vagina, but fully woman in the sense that, like, living full time. I guess that's what I meant to say, living full time. And in that first relationship, I wasn't living full time, and I kind of led him on to thinking that I was. And so that was my B. I learned from that. Second thing I learned is that guys have a lot of guilt and shame around dating trans women, and that is super easily transferred to us. If they're guilty or they feel shame about dating you, honey, that's going to come off and that's going to rub off on you. It's how it is. Eventually, you're going to start feeling shameful and guilty about you and your identity. And that happened to me as well. And the next thing I found out as I continued my adventures in these apps, as I progressed through transition, is that a lot of self-identified straight men, and I verify this, like straight men who date women, like biological women through and through, wanted to be topped. And I thought that was so interesting. The really interesting part of it is that they don't want to be topped by a gay male. They don't want to be topped by a male at all. They want to only be topped by a trans woman. And that to me was fascinating. It took me I still don't really kind of comprehend it, but there's a lot of men out there who identify 100% as straight, but want to be topped by a trans woman. And it's just like, it's super interesting to me. And when I kind of probed a little bit more, because girl, you know, I'm an investigative journalist. I never take that hat off. When I probe a little bit more, and I'm like, well, would you let a guy top you? Would you let a feminine gay male top you? No. Would you let a crossdresser top you? No. I don't know. It's so interesting. I think that's the third thing that I really learned that was quite interesting. The fourth thing I learned through my interactions and my adventures through dating and on hormones is that men want sex. And they want sex from you. A lot of times men will fetishize trans women. And what fetishize means is that look at you only as a piece of meat. You are only there for sex. And I see this a lot also with like, even in just like culture today of like, I want to date a black boyfriend. I really want a black man. I want to have sex with a black guy. And it's like, okay, fine. We all have preferences. If you're seeking out one type of person, right, whether it's a black man, a trans woman, whoever it is, you want to be cautious that you're not just dating them because they're a black man or because they're a trans woman. You want to have something in common. You want to have something that you're able to talk about. You want to have something that you're able to do together. And sometimes I get the feeling, and it was really quickly clear to me that a lot of guys who would talk to me were very much just fetishizing me. It was something that they had seen in porn. A lot of times it was something that they had never really experienced in real life and they wanted to. And that was really obvious. I mean, like, it was very clear. They're really bad at hiding it. And I don't think, honestly, a lot of them cared to hide it. They just viewed me as a piece of meat and would throw it out there. Like, let's have sex. Let's do this. It really lowers your self-esteem, putting yourself in that environment and in that setting for so long. It really does. And so I eventually had to get out. No one would ever come up to you in real life and say that because it's so inappropriate. The fifth thing I learned about straight men, self-identified straight men, and I say self-identified because if you identify as a straight man, I'm going to take you as a straight man. I have no reason to question or judge you. It's like I identify as a trans woman, straight trans woman. I assume that you're not going to question my identity. I would appreciate if you don't. So if you tell me you're a straight man, like, I'm going to assume you're a straight man, which actually leads me to the next part. Why straight men are interested in trans women. What straight men want from trans women. Some of them want a relationship. Some of them want love. Some of them want, you know, the best of both worlds, as, you know, the saying, which I don't really like that saying, but it, you know, that's how they feel. And some of them just want sex. Some of them want to be topped for the first time. Some of them want to recreate things that they've seen in porn. Like, it's all different. It's hard to say like what men want from trans women. What I can say through my experience is that the majority of straight men that I've interacted with, and I'm very cautious while saying this, but so like just know that, did not want it out. They did not want their family to know. They didn't want their friends to know. It was something that was a private thing. And so that kind of goes back to the guilt and shame thing of not wanting anyone to know that this is a sexual desire that they have. It's hard to kind of comprehend all of it. And even for me today, it is. A lot of people ask, like, what would a straight man want from a transgender woman? Who a lot of people view as men, right? Like, if you have a penis, you're a man. Hi, bitch. Well, if you feel that way, this video is probably not for you because you're probably not going to learn too much. For the most part, at the end of the day, when you look past the fetishizing and you look past the sex component, a lot of guys out there want a relationship with someone that they care about. And if it happens to be with a trans woman, then great. I just want to say that I give a lot of credit to straight men who openly date trans women. Because it takes a lot of guts, even in today's society. There's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of stigma, and it's not easy. And so I give a lot of credit to those people. It's 10 telling your family, telling your friends, telling people at work. Those are all really scary things. I hope eventually, as society continues to change and progress, it's something that we can see more of. Because I think the longer we stay on the apps and the longer we stay on the websites and it behind closed doors, the longer we're just gonna stay sick, so to speak. So those are some things that I've learned. I learned a lot more. I don't want this video to be like 87 hours, so I'm gonna cut it. But kind of the basics of what I've learned. So goodness gracious. Again, at the end of the day, everyone is entitled to love who they want to love, to have sex with who they want to have sex with, and to do that in a guilt and shame-free setting as long as it's consensual. And I truly believe that. So thank you guys for watching this. I'm sorry it was all over the place. I will try to make another video being like a little bit more concise at some point, but these are just kind of, this idea just came to my head and I was like, I really like it. So thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Have you dated a trans person before? Are you a trans person? What's dating like for you? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you guys later. I'm going to try to make 2 videos a week coming up, which is a lot. But I'm going to try it for y'all because it sounds fun. So I'm going to do that and I will see you guys later.